Welcome back. Today's 16, the 16th of December, of my readings from Carmen's Legacy. And why am I doing this? Not only have I written the book Carmen's Legacy, I am a keynote speaker on safe road use, and I'm an international speaker on road safety. I heard on the news this morning the Victorian statistics for road safety, and we are 7.8% up on the number of deaths as at the same time last year. And that is 17 more deaths than the same time last year. The staggering statistic is that in country Victoria, we have had 20% more deaths on country Victorian roads than we did at the same time last year. Yes, the roads have all been affected by rain. There are potholes everywhere. For heaven's sake, drive to the conditions. I'd now like to read more of Chapter 8, which was written by our eldest daughter, Michelle. On Friday night, it was the Bendigo Cup. We went as a family and had our mates with us. It truly was a day to remember. Laughter, fun, and a few drinks. That night we all went to the nightclubs and had a ball. We danced all night. I brought Carmen and her best friend Carmen a soft drink each before I had to go. I dearly wanted to stay on and party for a few more hours, but I had to work the following morning. Home I went, telling them to have a great night. The next morning, as usual, I was running late for work. I ran through the door into the kitchen and was surprised to see Carmen asleep with her head resting on the table. When I woke her and told her to go back to bed, she said she had to drive Carmen to work. I said I could take her on my way to work. You're tired and you should go back to bed. Just then, Carmen walked into the kitchen and said, "Okay, I'm ready to go." I looked at Carmen and said again, "I will be ready in 5 minutes and I can do it." She laughed and said she would be fine. It all happened very quickly, but something inside me knew it didn't feel right. I told her to put on the music, wind the window down, and I gave her a thumbs up. I watched the two Carmens get into the car and they waved. They were laughing as teenagers do, and I thought nothing else of it. Walking, then running down the hall, I rushed to get ready for work. Saturday mornings were always busy. I started up my car and the strangest feeling came over me. I had to wear a little daisy clip in my hair that I had bought the week before. It was dainty with tiny little petals, but nothing expensive or special. I told myself no, as I didn't have time. Then the feeling grew and I actually said, "Okay." Running down the hallway again, shaking my head because I couldn't believe I was doing that, I grabbed the hair clip, ran back to the car and said aloud, "Is that better now?" Crazy, I know, but I have always talked to my mum's father, who was an elderly dairy farmer who loved his hothouse full of spectacular flowers. He was my pop, who died when I was only 7. I have always found comfort in chatting with him and still do to this day. I remember looking at the beautiful day, clear blue skies and the sun warm on my cheek as I drove. Only 5 minutes into my drive to work, I had a bad feeling. The feeling that I should have passed Carmen by then. That feeling grew to terror and I started to cry. I blinked, and although I can't explain how it happened, I pictured Carmen's car crash. I screamed, started to shake and howled, "No!" I drove over the hill and there was my shocking vision. I knew Carmen was in the car, which was crumpled up on the side of the road next to the only large tree. I can't remember parking my car, but I can remember asking Pop over and over again, why? I got out of my car and looked at the two policemen talking to a lady and her small boy, who was standing on the opposite side of the road. Then a man and his young boy came over to me. He was telling me I shouldn't be there, that there had been an accident. This is no place for you, and you must leave, he said. I can vividly remember thinking, why would he have a child around this? How strange. Then it occurred to me, Carmen must be okay. They must be waiting for the ambulance. I said through tears, I know, it's my sister, and is she okay? With that, the man ran across the road with his son and got the older policeman. I was striding towards the car, praying to see that Carmen wasn't inside, but already on her way to hospital. The policeman was suddenly by my side. He stopped me and I said, that's my sister in that car. Is she okay? He just looked at me for what felt like years. So I simply walked past him. He grabbed me gently by the arm and this time I screamed, is Carmen okay? I'm going to take her home. I truly don't remember if he said anything, but if so, I didn't hear it. Suddenly, I had punched him in the face and broken free of his grasp to get Carmen out of the car. This time he grabbed me by the upper arms with more force. He looked me in the eyes and said, I'm sorry, but your sister is deceased. There is still much more to Michelle's chapter. And if anyone wants to know what it's like to lose a family member, Michelle's chapter is a must read, especially when you're standing, like Michelle was, within 2 meters of Carmen. Thank you again for listening to more of Carmen's legacy.